That buying something that's undervalued in an amazing market like San Diego has a high barrier of entry to start.
Yep.
So the value of the property, I don't see it going down anytime soon.
Hey, welcome back to the Cash Flow Podcast. I'm your host, Jayson Yoss. I'm here with my guest today, Jonathan Mitchell. Jonathan, how you doing, brother?
I'm doing well, Jason. Thanks for having me, bro.
It's awesome to have you here. So, owner of ADU Pals, is that correct?
One of the partners, yes.
Okay, one of the partners.
Yeah.
Look, super stoked to have you on, not just because of your energy, but someone who's an expert in this space. Because one of the biggest things we find is, hey, ADUs is all the rage, but how do I do it?
Yes.
So talk to me a little bit. Let's start background.
Background, born and raised in San Diego,
Nice.
East County.
Nice.
Graduated from Granite Hills. Shout out Granite Hills Eagles. And from there, did some traveling. Sold loans for quite a long time. Family was in that business. And then just wanted to travel, man. So lived in Europe, been to 45 countries now and counting.
Yes.
Cut my teeth in sales when I got back. Kind of had to get my life back together. So I actually moved out of San Diego.
Right.
Started selling phones for a big Verizon distributor, worked my way up through that, and then got into door-to-door alarm sales, and that's when I discovered that skill, which was quite a hurdle to overcome. I think if you really want to cut your teeth in sales, learn how to sell door-to-door. It's pretty hardcore, dude.
Right.
And then from there, got into solar, man. So I worked for a company. They were IPOing, and I transitioned into solar and then started my own solar company. And then, yeah, man, we talked about that. But 108 employees. It was full speed ahead. Didn't know how to read a balance sheet. Didn't know how to read P&L, dude.
Right.
12 full-time crews. Learn as you go. We were blessed. It was an emerging market. It was booming.
Right.
Really high ticket price. So it kind of hid, the top line kind of hid some of the problems that we had.
Right.
But that was where I really learned about business, about employees, about making payroll, about the miscellaneous line items, and all the fun stuff that comes with being a business owner.
When you have to make payroll, things get real.
Absolutely, dude. That's the real deal. And we had a couple big ones in there, bro, with 100 employees, 108 at our height in California.
That's no joke.
Yeah,
that is no joke. So all this background, sales, and then growing and running your own company, that transitioned you into ADU. Talk to me about like how you found this niche specifically. Were you always into property or talk to me about that?
Yeah, so I started investing in real estate like in 2016.
Got it.
I didn't want to grow up, Jason, and be a solar contractor. No offense to solar contractors,
Absolutely.
but that wasn't sort of my end game.
Right.
I love real estate. I love everything about real estate. I'm one of those guys that sounds super cliche. Seriously,
I don't want to grow up either, so keep talking.
I love this game. It's amazing. Leverage, being able to take debt and buy assets,
Yep.
improve those assets. It's really not rocket science.
Mm-hmm.
It's transactional. It's also relationship based. And there's a good relationship between what's relationship based and what's transactional. Right? I think the stronger the relationships you have, the easier are the transactions.
Right.
But yeah, man, I started investing, and I'm a developer in my heart. Always have been. Take something that's kind of whatever, shitty for lack of a better word, and make it better. Invest into it, put some sweat equity into it, and that transferred really well into developing. And so when these laws came around, 2019 was the law from the state. And then a couple of years after that, San Diego really leaned in. Faulkner was the mayor then,
Right.
and it was essentially not unlimited, but you can build a lot of ADUs. So San Diego is at the premier in the country, Jason,
It totally
for
is.
ADUs. And for me, it was a no-brainer, dude. It's the dirt here is really expensive, the property is really expensive, and you can buy a property that's under the market,
Right.
fix it up. So now you have a value add play already, and then you can build on the other side, so the upside. So you capture the development spread essentially, but you mitigate on the downside in case something goes wrong.
Let's unpack what you said, because a huge amount of nuggets in there. Number one, I can't tell you how many people relate, especially us guys, like, hey, I wanted to make something work with my hands. I didn't want to be like, I am a property manager by trade. That wasn't what I grew up thinking, but I love to see the end state when I put a little sweat equity in something. So love to see that. And then number two, go figure that California is well behind on the need for housing. So the state puts out its mandate like, hey, we need units, and San Diego gets right in the forefront. A big shout out to former Mayor Faulkner for actually getting us going. And nowadays, 100% what you said. Find a property. Dirt is what really matters, but develop it, fix it up, develop it, find ways to add value. So let's talk about something when you brought it up a little bit. Talk to me about your investment philosophy, your investment strategy.
Yeah, so that's it. Asymmetrical returns, right?
Asymmetrical.
I've done a bunch of different types of developments. I've done new construction. I've done fix and flips. I've done conversions. I've done multifamily. I've done all different types. I've invested in dirt in Hawaii, condos, HOAs. I hope everyone here is not anyone here is not an HOA, but yeah, it's rough.
Rough.
Especially in Hawaii.
Rough.
Very rough. So I've done a lot of different types of and I used to sell loans, right? I used to sell money as well. For me, I like asymmetrical returns. I generally am a little bit of a risk taker.
Right.
As I age a little bit, I'm 42 going on 43. I'm scaling that back a bit, but I generally do. I have a pretty big risk appetite, I would say. This is my second real startup.
Right.
Mostly my own equity and just sort of going for it, right? I mean, a year ago, this brand didn't exist.
Absolutely.
There was a time we paid, like I said, we had 108 employees. We had 60 vehicles, insurance carriers, W-2. We had Kaiser. We were paying half our employees. That was 50, 60, 70 grand a month. Right. So when you're a startup guy, you kind of become comfortable with that. You know about that as well. So we talked about this company being, new for me, but not new in the sense of like, I've walked through the fear of building a brand from the ground up.
Got it.
Now, when I invest, it's two-part, Jason. One is in my company, right? I'm investing in ADU pals. And then part two is in real estate. Right. So like I said, buying something that's undervalued in an amazing market like San Diego is, has a high barrier of entry to start.
Yep.
So the value of the property, I don't see it going down anytime soon. I think we've already taken the hit. Through the relationships that we have, we can buy those properties that are under market, fix them up, and now we've already gained equity. Then we develop in-house. We build new construction, and we're capturing, like I said, the development spread, the upside of utilizing that backyard dirt that's been sitting there. And now instead of one unit or two, we have 6, 8, 10.
I love the way you broke that down, especially talking about how you're making these deals work. Is that what you're seeing from your normal client? Is it they've got a single family and they're saying, Jonathan, how can I convert this garage? I saw something on Facebook about this. Or are you seeing more of that, hey, a savvy investor who bought maybe a duplex or a triplex and they're saying like, hey, what can I get out of this?
It's a great question. So both. So we actually have a three-pronged approach. We tell everyone we're investors first.
Okay.
And our customers, our clients love that because we're walking through this with our own equity. We're walking through it with our own money. We're walking through it with our own partners. And so everything that we're learning, and we have a massive network. We know pretty much everyone in this space. So we're always having conversations, learning new things. We know people at the city. So we were trying to mitigate risk all the way through as investors do.
Boom.
And then we transfer that sweat equity, that information, that experience to our customers.
Right.
And prongs 2 and 3 would be, we have investors, people that are in the space. Maybe they come from e-commerce, maybe they come from tech, and they own some property and they want to develop. They heard about the ADU play and they want to learn about that. Sometimes we JV with them. Sometimes we just handle the development for them. Sometimes we handle the development and build. And then we have we call them Tom and Sally homeowner, who, they just own a piece of property and they want grandma to move in with them, or they want a place for their kids when they come back from college, or they want to create cash flow. They want to short-term rent their house and live there, or get a long-term tenant into that ADU and create cash flow.
It's amazing how when you have experience and knowledge in this space, you can cater to several different types of clients and be successful. So, and talking about success, I want to know about some successful deals. Walk me through a deal. Could be a recent one, could be a good one, could be a bad one that you've had success on, because I want our audience to understand what it looks like.
Do you want a really successful one? Do you want a shitty one? There's some. I haven't hit home runs every time, dude. I'll tell you one that we talked about. So
Sure.
There's a property on Indiana Street in North Park. It's 2 blocks from Balboa Park. I bought that for $1.2 million 3 years ago. And it's been cash flowing generally all the way through. I think I'm negative cash flow right now, like $300, which isn't bad.
Take that all day long.
We're getting about $4.60 a square foot, I want to say, for rent right now.
Got it.
But it's sitting on about 6,500 square feet.
There we go.
So yeah, the duplex they're 536 square feet each, the units. And we're going to build 12 behind. So it's taking me quite a while, actually. These are actually not ADUs. It's the base zoning, and then there's additional incentives as well besides ADUs in San Diego.
Let's talk about those incentives.
There's micro units there. If you're close to essentially public transit, there's STA, there's TPA.
Right.
There's a bunch of other incentives that the city wants people to build, which I think is very unique. We're in a blue state.
Right.
And that's why I think it's such an opportunity. But back to the deal. So we're building 12 units behind. We're utilizing the micro unit bonus density.
Love it.
And also the base zoning. So it's RM25, which is multifamily zoning. So we're going to get 12 units there in addition to the 2. I should have that permit in about, I'm hoping 2 weeks, and then we're going to build it. I'm hoping to bring it online this year. So that one, there's quite a bit of juice in that deal because we've handled a lot of the development in-house.
Right.
I'm not going to get into the numbers, but I think we're going to be, if there's investors out there that want to talk about this kind of stuff, we're going to be opening up certain conversations. I have to be very careful about what I say. It's likely going to be a 506B. But yeah, we have deals like that, we are controlling the purchase of the property, and we're not just going out there buying anything. We have a specific buy box, right. Jayson. One thing I learned from one of my mentors, who's a very sophisticated developer, he told me, hey, Jonathan, I love the upside in San Diego. I love the opportunity to build units in San Diego. But if you're buying that property and someone has already got that listing by talking to that seller and telling them, oh, you didn't know that you could build 30 units on this property?
Yeah.
I can get you $2 million for it, when the seller had in their head it was worth 1.1.
Right.
If I buy that property at $2 million, Jayson, now it doesn't matter what I get for rent on the backside.
Yeah.
Not to mention I'm not going to be able to give very much affordable housing.
Yep.
I've already baked in the price. So when you purchase real estate, it's just real estate 101.
Yep.
You make your money on the buy.
Right.
Even if you develop, what you're doing is then you're spinning your wheels. So you don't want to be spinning your wheels.
You're just trying not to lose money on the development, but you make it on the buy.
Always.
Love it.
And then if you can control all your hot spots, right? You can check all the boxes on the development side, right? You're not paying the piper everywhere, and you can control time, right? Because time's a killer of deals.
Yep.
Get your permit quicker and build quicker. Now you're to the other side quicker. You can lease up quicker. You can stabilize quicker.
What you penciled out actually might come to fruition.
They call those pro formas.
Biggest hurdles that you're seeing in, even with this deal, but most deals, what's the biggest hurdle you're seeing?
On this deal, honestly, it was experience. I had to vet my team. I had a really large team, a really large network, but it was something I was talking to you about when we were on the phone. It's like you have to learn through doing, I think, in this game. Everyone wants to be a guru. Everyone wants to listen to a guru who's giving you a small nugget. Like, you have to, walk through the pain.
Right.
And for me, that was part of it. So architects, not all architects are created equal. Structural engineers, mechanical, electrical engineers. You can go down the list. Civil engineers. Just because someone has the ability to stamp something, they graduated and they passed the test. There are good drivers and bad drivers out there, but they all usually have a license.
How do you oversee? I mean, they're not your employees. How are you able to oversee that you're getting the vision that you wanted?
Yeah, I think vetting, it comes with time, right? I'm a relationship guy. I do ask for referrals, and everyone I even used previously was a referral. But again, sometimes even referrals don't work out, unfortunately. Sure. So you have to just walk through that, and then over time, as you weed out the bad ones, you're left with good ones, and that's kind of what happened. And so when you find good people, you keep them busy.
Yeah.
Especially ones that aren't trying to break the bank, right?
Yeah.
Because sometimes for me, it's worth it to pay a little more for really good quality and service, but I don't want someone that's got both hands in my cookie jar as well.
Yeah, two hands is too many. What you said is huge, and everybody's got to understand this. Number one, referral is huge. If you just go on Google and look for whatever, whether it be structural engineer, whether it be architect, whether it be general contractor, whether it be an ADU company, like, good luck. Okay, you need someone that you trust who's going to say, hey, I recommend Jonathan, I recommend ADU Pals. And then, the price can't be breaking the bank. I know you get what you pay for, but when it's both hands in the cookie jar, it's too many. I want to transition a little bit into kind of a question that maybe for the real estate entrepreneur or an ADU Pals client. Like, what is that one thing you wish they knew before starting this process?
It's probably going to be more difficult than you think.
Got it.
It's probably going to cost more money than you think it's going to. What's happening is everyone wants to be a developer. Not everyone. There's a lot of people that wanted to be a developer.
Right.
This is an opportunity. It has lowered the bar of entry.
Sure.
But it's still developing real estate.
Right.
There are unknowns. I get over and over and over the question, what's your build cost? What's your build cost? What's your build cost?
Right.
Because I think people are confusing development and building.
Right.
Developing real estate, Jayson, is not building real estate. Developing real estate is developing. So there is a process to that. There's engineers involved. There's a city involved. There's entitlements often involved. There are things, the tentative maps, permanent maps. I can be a developer, buy 10 acres in the Inland Empire, develop that property, sell it to Lennar or
Right.
KB Homes, who is a builder.
Yep.
They haven't developed it at all. But then I'm taking all the risk. It's de-risked, right? And then they come in and build it. So in our mind, it's like, okay, if someone's building me a house, it's $300 a square foot. That's the number for the hard cost. You have to take in consideration that what is the development cost, and do I know that cost? Does it change? What are the impact fees? How can I avoid impact fees? Where are there areas that the expertise of the developer can save me money, as well as the builder? And oftentimes, what I want people to know is it's going to be more difficult than you think it is. It's probably going to be more expensive, but in the end, it's going to be worth it. Because when you own cash flowing real estate in San Diego, you elevate your life. You can go golf somewhere,
Right.
and you have property making you money.
Go figure that real estate being one of the longest lasting investment and ways to make wealth in history. Where are you telling people to look to find that next good deal?
Are you saying for like Tom and Sally homeowner? Are you talking about for real estate people in our industry?
Let's talk about real estate investors in our industry. That $2 to $20 million wealth, whether a high net wealth person or somebody who has got some skin in the game.
Yeah, so the normal ways, right? Relationships, you can go to meetups. We have one, Deeds, Deals, and Drinks, first Wednesday of the month. It's in Little Italy. Meet with guys like you, property managements who have deep relationships built over many years with different types of property owners. Obviously agents, wholesalers, but meetups, MLS is really good. I think for finding deals, it really is if you have a system. And then creating your own system, right? Get some callers, get some VAs. That's a whole different thing we can talk about. But if you work with really good brokers, there's some here in San Diego that know how to source and find deals. Right. That's where I would say it becomes a relationship business, because the more relationships you have from people that really know what they're doing, the more opportunity, Jayson, you're going to get to find a juicy deal.
Before we close it out, I just want to know, is there any, pass go thing that you're seeing today as the market unfolds where you're saying, like, if it looks like this, we're not doing it, or if it has this, we're 100% in?
So we need juice. I'm not going to say 100% no, but I've taken my lumps in some other markets. We are niched in San Diego, Jayson.
Love it.
I want juice on my deal. I want to be able to force appreciation from the onset. It mitigates risk for me and my investors right away. And in addition to that, I would say 70% of the time want to be able to build ADUs.
Got it.
If it's just a straight flip, we'll take it down, but everyone is chasing those deals. It's very difficult, and we don't bid up. So we are we don't, man. We don't bid up. I've heard it all. We got 4 offers coming in, and we got 7 in hand, and it's like, okay, well, that's probably not our deal.
Yeah. And I love to hear it that way. I'm not going to take this deal. Thank you. I appreciate you coming to me, but this deal isn't for me. Close it out. Where can people find you, and what do you want to leave them with stepping out?
Invest in real estate. You can do it. If you don't know how to do it, ask someone that does. I think most people in this space are awesome. I think most people in this space want to help. And most people in this space understand that the people that are going out and doing it, if they don't know, like, there's a value add component. Like, for me, it gives me joy to help a guy that might have been in my shoes 10 years ago close a deal, dude. Like, there's something to that. I think real estate is an industry where that is sort of common. I'm at adupals.com. I'm on social media, Jonathan Mitchell, RE, on Instagram, Jonathan Mitchell on Facebook. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm active usually on those 3. And then you can download my podcast as well. It is what is it called? Skip the Lines with Jonathan Mitchell. Yeah, brand new. Jayson, thanks, brother.
Oh, dude, it was wonderful to have you in. Love your energy. And I love that specific, when you come from owned a business background, it really helps the regular Tom and Susie or your fellow high net worth, your fellow investor, understand like you're serious about what you're doing, you've taken your lumps, and you know how to put out a good product. So I appreciate being here, sharing all those nuggets. Everyone else, thanks for tuning in. This is the Cash Flow Podcast, where we talk about turning properties into profits.